All right. Got a quick one for you, and it's going to require you guys to drop trowel, grab your ankles. All right? I am just kidding. There will be no cavity checks in this video. That's next week. I was in a class last week, and had a group of guys that were really involved in the hunting, fishing, outdoor sports, but not really concealed carry and handguns. These guys had done lots of shotgun hunting, rifle hunting, and sporting clays. So they understood, and they grew up doing this. They understood how to maintain those tools. I got one here, right? This is a fantastic representation of Americana right here. Marlin 336, right? Grew up with one of these, love it. If you take this thing out in the rain, in the mud, if you're smart, you'll come home, you'll break it down, you'll clean it. You may even take the wood off to make sure no moisture is between the metal and the wood. We have a system, right? How we maintain these things. Well, with the carry guns, stepping out of frame here, you know, something like a good old-fashioned Glock. This doesn't need the same kind of care that does. Plastic, the polymer, and the coatings that are used in these modern metals is not the same type of stuff that we have in older blued finishes. Where am I going with this? First off, this is not a video on how to clean or maintain your guns. It's a video on how not to be a douchebag. What? So I had another group of guys. That group of guys in the first class, I explained to them how to maintain their carry guns. I had a group of guys in a class after that, just a few days ago, and one of them was talking about being in a class with a famous instructor who has a big social media following. He's a badass in the industry. I used air quotes twice. I'll try not to do it again. We'll talk about the industry thing in a minute. Day one of class, they shoot a bunch. Day two of class, my student, who was the student at this other class previously, is telling the shooters and the instructor, I got the gun cleaned up, ready to go. And they started laughing at him. You cleaned your gun? And he's like, well, yeah, of course I cleaned my gun. And they're like, only a noob or a FUD would clean his gun. FUD, by the way, somebody called me that the other day on YouTube, and I had to look it up. I'm like, huh? Like, okay. These guys made fun of it. Look, there's this trend. We have trends in this shooting community that we have, training community. Like, if you don't carry inside the waistband appendix, you don't know what you're doing. If you don't use the coolest holster that fits up here, you're a noob. You don't know what you're doing. If you don't use the coolest night sights, or if you haven't switched to a red dot, or blah, blah, blah. It's dumb, dude. Guess what? A basic stock pistol with a leather holster, of all things, can protect you just as good or better than any hot-rodded gun. What are you training, and how are you training it? So here's the thought. I'm down here. I was thinking about this because I shoot a lot. Like 20, 30, 40, 50,000 rounds in a year. That's not like bragging, but I know a thing or two about maintaining and breaking guns. So I've got some guns out here. My PX4 from Langdon Tactical needs to be cleaned. I've got several thousand rounds through it just in the last 2 weeks. And if I don't clean it and look at it, all I'm asking for is for my abuse to prematurely wear it out. I'm not telling you that if you go shoot 50 rounds of ammo that you need to break the gun down and clean it. What I am telling you is, what result do you want, and does what you're doing support said result? Is what you're doing taking you to where you want to go, right? Is it really cool to shoot a gun like this for 5,000 or 10,000 rounds and not break it apart and clean it? No, it's stupid. And guys, friends of mine do this. I've done it. And you know when I do it? It's because I'm being lazy. But then we act like we're cool because we don't clean our gun. That's not cool. It's freaking dumb. If it's a gun that you carry, I hope to God from time to time, every week at least, you pull the slide off after you've safely unloaded and look the gun over. Is there popcorn kernels that fell in it from the movie theater? Is there a bunch of body hair plugged up in spots it shouldn't be? Does it need to be lubed? Because if you're carrying the gun to protect you, you're going to want it to work, right? So your mission should be to do everything that you can to support that outcome. So when you have guys saying you don't need to do any of that stuff, just shoot the hell out of it, that's dumb. It's dumb, it's ignorant, and it's no information that I would pass on to anybody that's come to me looking for info. What is he doing right now? Well, right now I'm putting some lube on the gun. How much lube do you put on your gun? I would check your manual. I would read about it, because you don't need to lube every gun the same. You also don't need to lube a gun in all the same spots. Great video for you with Larry Vickers and Jeff Cahill. Jeff owns Tango Down. Tango Down makes the best parts, in my opinion, for Glock upgrades, slide lock levers, things of that nature. They have a great video on maintaining a Glock pistol, and they talk about lubrication points. Just because your 1911 or your wheel gun or your old hunting gun required certain treatment doesn't mean these plastic guns do, composite polymer guns. You know what? In the last month, I've seen at least 5 pistols break in class. 3 of them were Glocks. Holy crap. Nope, they weren't modified. Nope, they weren't abused. I had a recoil spring break, not me, but one of the students, and this pistol, brand new Gen 5 Glock 17, recoil spring, gave up the ghost. Had another Gen 5 Glock 19 about a month ago, where part of the spring assembly broke. I had just this past class, or 2 classes ago rather, the slide lock lever spring break in a Glock 19. They break, guys. They break. They all break. So when you're the guy that says, I shoot XYZ gun because it doesn't break, it means you haven't shot it enough, or you haven't been around them enough. Stop thinking about what everybody else is doing. My opinion, if you don't like this, do whatever you want to do. Do what supports the outcome you desire. I don't always scrub my guns, but when I do, I've got a cold beer nearby and some gloves on. That was a joke. Who loves the sound of latex gloves? If you do, you're a creep. The long and the short of it is, from time to time, break these guns down, wipe them down, clean them out, make sure that they're well lubed with good oil. Plug for a friend of mine, JT Timmons makes Gunfighter gun oil. What makes it good? Well, it's not biodegradable. He's not paying me to do this. I like the oil. I've used it for over a year. He's a gunsmith. It doesn't biodegrade. Everybody uses oil that's biodegradable because in our brain, biodegradable sounds good. This stuff lasts a long time and does an awesome job of holding up under high heat. Doesn't get sticky if it sits in a gun safe or in your holster for a long time. It does a great job in high temperatures and low. It's not going to gum up like some of the other ones out there. Check it out, Gunfighter gun oil. Dudes, don't feel like you have to do what the cool guy does. I said I'd talk about the industry for a minute. This isn't an industry. Me sharing a video with you, I'm not part of an industry. I'm a dude in his gun room filming a video. An industry is the aviation industry, the shipping industry, the construction industry. Dudes shooting guns and putting it on social media is not an industry. It's guys with like-minded hobbies. Think about what you want. Do things that support the outcome you desire. Take care of your stuff. Don't look up to people that think trashing their shit is cool. If you're rich and just want to trash your stuff, be my guest. But if the outcome is that you want the gun to give you the result you desire, which I would think would be that gun to be mechanically sound and operate when you need it, take care of your stuff. Mickey with CarryTrainer.com. We do have a video up on YouTube talking a little bit more in depth on how to clean modern firearms. I know my buddy John Lovell from Warrior Poet Society has a video up, and so do others. I'm not even talking about how to do it. I'm just saying, don't let any douchebags tell you that you should run your guns into the ground to be part of the in club. That's just dumb. Be well, love you, love yourself. Bye now. And if you took your pants off, you're a creep.